should a club be able to, if you've got the owners...
They had Dendonka on 100 bags a week.
Who?
Dendonka.
Yeah.
They had him on 100 bags a week. And he left this summer.
But if you're trying to compete, though, should there be a little bit of flexibility in it for even a period of time where a club can... I don't know. It's a hard one.
The Villa need to work on the commercial aspect so they can then reduce the wage to revenue.
Be in the big boy.
They're trying to build. I think they're trying to expand the stadium. I saw.
I think
That's
where it is.
This is why it's so hard to gate crash the traditional top six.
Also, so should you have some sort of leeway for teams like Villa that are emerging up, right, to give them that chance to beat?
How do you make that decision? How do you make that decision?
We don't win nothing. We were in.
Oh, so you only say it from a bad mind point of view.
Yeah, like, I'm mid-30s, so I've seen 27 years of my life, we've like, been getting cussed in secondary school, finishing 10th, we were rock bottom. Levy's, even though I want him out, he's built the club to be able to be commercially good, to be able to spend a lot more. Do you know what I mean? So other clubs can follow that. There's blueprints there to do it.
I think, listen, this is where you got to take your hat off to Liverpool, right? No matter what, you said it earlier, Flex, and it's true. Nobody can complain with how they've done this, because last year they didn't buy a player, of note, and whether they won the league or not, they didn't buy no one, right? Now they got the money, they've saved. It's like you saved them,
piggyback.
Like they never saved up their money to get this thing. It's not like they've gone out
all year.
They ain't done nothing. They ain't put no man on a 50-year contract or nothing like that.
Wages ain't that mad.
They've done it properly, right? So you can't begrudge them.
Exactly.
Much as I'd love to do this guy, right? But you can't begrudge them what they've done. They've done it right. You've got to say, and so I do hear you on that.
As someone said about the Newcastle one, someone said, listen, man, them Saudi brothers got money. Just commit their offence and pay the fine. It's Nottingham Forest did it.
I hear it though.
True, but then...
And then they built a better squad.
Yeah.
True. Just pay the money. It's either that or... The fine ain't like going to put you out of business. It's like
but you
X
could
amount
get
of money.
points though.
Well, that's the problem, if you could do that. But then, who took... Again, they got dock points, didn't they? Forest did.
Yeah.
Everton did. Was it Everton as well?
And Villa was serious,
you know
serious trouble again.
So some people are like, if you've got all that money and you just can't spend it on the fine and make your team better. Find a way.
Yeah. But how do those teams though get to be Liverpool or spend like United or Arsenal?
No one can be Liverpool.
How can you? If you're an emerging, you want to come in, right? You're a multi-billionaire now. You want to come and buy. You want to come and buy Brentford? Could Brentford or Brighton? Could Brighton?
The thing is,
those teams never. But even the Brighton model's great in buying, but they always have to sell.
No, it just takes ages.
Robbie, it takes generations to become a big team.
The rules don't
like. Let's be honest. Liverpool's fan base, Man United's fan base, Arsenal's fan base, Chelsea's as well. Worldwide that takes decades and decades of building and tradition, trophies, finals, heartbreak, success. You can't just say, "Oh, Brentford went. Why can't they become a Big Six team?" Because they've never been a big team.
Well, I
understand what you're saying,
but then we're never gonna get like.
It
one
takes
of those...
like 100 years.
All right, let's Villa. But Villa have got a big history. Villa have won Champions League. Villa have won leagues, FA Cups.
They're not doing nothing commercially.
Right. Can't they have a benefactor who comes in and pumps a bit of money in, even if you said to him for a while?
But they've since 2018 they put in I think 600 million.
Yeah.
Invested.
Yeah, but Robbie, do you know what the thing is, right? Is that no matter how much
you can't talk in this.
I think I'm best placed to talk. I started this and I ended it.
That's true. You started this.
No, I think the funny thing is with this is that no matter how much you come in and pump money, it's not like the teams at the top are going to stop spending. So you're spending whilst they're spending. So you're not really catching them. You're just trying to keep up with them. And that's the thing. And also geographically, players are always going to pick like Newcastle. Newcastle actually tried to buy good players. They tried to get Mbeumo. They tried to get João Pedro. They tried to get Trafford. They tried to get players that, but the football food chain. So the Premier League can't do nothing. They can't say, oh, you have to go join Newcastle. You can't join Man City. This is not a draft. This is not the NBA. The bigger clubs are going to get the bigger players if those clubs want those players.
And it's been like that for 100 years.
And if their fans, people like Matt Rennie go, stupid Cesco, why does he want to go there? Man United's a graveyard shift. Look, then they lose against Greek. So
it's not even a money thing.
But it's like, when it comes down to the choice, name for name, I don't care where their man finished versus Man United. It's still Man United.
We know
Liverpool.
But how long can it take for someone to look at the two names and go, Newcastle are more successful? Could be another 100 years.
A long time.
Yeah, but is that right though? Because they've been around.
But it's just how it is.
No, that's the player's perspective.
The food chain.
But what we do have to acknowledge is that PSR though, the way that it's up, even for the bigger clubs. Because what is actually happening is you are incentivizing developing your young players that we want to see a pathway through to sell them for 100%. It isn't right the way that
look at Liverpool. Well, actually, no, Harvey didn't come through the ranks, did he? So
no, he came at 15 though, but he came at Fulham.
But
even
most
then,
other teams are having to
like,
sell.
Right, ticket prices are going up. If you want this shiny new player that you're desperate for us to get, 50 quid added to your season ticket every year.
Yeah, PSR is not perfect.
There's no secret to this. It is what it is. The bigger clubs will always get the best players. And that's
but I'm just saying
that's 100 years of tradition.
But also AGT though. But for the league, if we're going to have a league that's a competitive league,
this is competitive.
But ours is the most
It's
competitive,
We'll
but
compete
it's
there.
always.
How many teams do you want up there?
Compete.
You want to be 8th
Yeah,
again?
no,
No. Do you want to be 8th again?
No.
Because the way you're talking, you want to.
Samaritan, Bridget. Yo,
listen.
Robbie's trying to swap places with you. Villa,
I
Newcastle.
don't, right?
Because
But
you can only have so
also,
many teams up there, no?
but also, it's like there are 20. I mean, how many teams in the league? You know what I mean, like.
What, you want 10 teams in the title race?
I think it was, especially
if
from
you
fourth
look at,
down. It's very competitive.
Listen, I'd love us to win it every year, right? But if you actually look at, like, you said American sports, yeah, right? It's different teams win.
Do you want drafts?
I'm not saying I want drafts, but
No relegation.
The only way we can get what he wants right now is drafts. That's the only way.
The LA Lakers
Remember
don't win it every year, do you? You get
Saudi.
different teams. Who won it this year? That's quite a new team that won it.
I think the league is there, and I
basketball.
think the food chain is in place. And without that food chain, you won't have players like Caicedo, like Lavia, like all these players that Brighton are building. Because if they were in a title race, these players might not even get the chance.
But you know what the big
they might not be scouting in France and getting.
But you know what the big problem is, right? I see the bigger problem is this, right? Is that it's not even so much the buying of players, it's the ability to keep those players. So like you got a team like Bournemouth now, you just had an unbelievable season, but you got to sell it. All your best men are gone. They're lucky they held on to Semenya. Like,
but that's not because of PSR though. That's
because
just
the players want to.
No, but
play.
they don't have enough.
You can't say no to Real Madrid. You can't say no.
Hold on.
But it is also kind of because of
Playing in front of
PSR.
12,000
But you know what?
fans.
This is the other
You
side.
can't keep them
Like,
again.
get new
from
stadium.
We've got players under contract who will just like
From
down.
going
No,
Real
but
Madrid,
You're looking at it in the wrong way for me. Like, look at it as the fact of Bournemouth. When were they selling to Real Madrid?
Yeah,
Exactly.
they
When
were.
were they selling?
It's amazing that's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
How
It's a
have
trajectory for
Bournemouth
them.
got to this point with
Yeah.
11,000 capacity stadium?
They're selling
They're
players
selling
for
to
it,
the
yeah.
biggest clubs in the world for big fees. That's
That's good.
progress.
It's good.
That's why we are competitive.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in
Same with Brighton.
other countries. So for me,
Brighton nearly went out of business.
Yeah.
When you go back to that Witherdean game, you know that famous game, like
Witherdean
to
Stadium.
fast forward to competing with a
look at
sustainable
our second
model
division as well. Look at the
week
money
in
spent.
week out in the Premier League.
But
You
they've
look
got
at
no
what
chance of
Brentford
ever
have done.
winning.
Never,
unless
no
it's a
chance.
miracle of winning
No
the league.
chance.
Yeah, but look at the
Because
championship.
They're
Look
never
at the
going to
money
be
spent. You don't
they're
have
never
that in
going to be
other
able to keep
countries.
hold of their best
But then
players.
it's always, but since the football at the beginning of time, apart from
always been
Leicester,
that way.
like when Blackburn won it, they had a wicked team. You know what I mean?
they
The whole
pumped
history
loads
of
of
the
money
Premier
into
League
it.
has been that.
Yeah.
Leicester won the league.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's an anomaly.
One off, but then they tried to sustain it, and now they're in
Can't do it.
The championship, and they're facing a massive points deduction because it's really difficult. I mean,
It is hard.
That's why you got to take your hat off to Liverpool and say, look what they've done.
Okay.
Look how much money.
Super chat.
super.